By defining ourselves through the catalogues of distinctions derived from how we approach reality, we become servile and addicted to the practices and effects promoted. Understanding is an expansive contract yet highly subservient to herding as an anthology of compatible and interdependent designs. The known as we see it builds out of constructs and contexts delineated by language into coherence. Understanding is a protagonist to its own design, of its own measures, ad hoc causes, and to results promoted as its own conveyances. And it ignores what does not exist, a myopia outside the relevance of anthropomorphic justifications. We ensnare through language a descriptive state. Why does everything have a name, and why do we see through names everything? Step back and look. Is there anything in front of your eyes you do not recognize? That is the anomaly. Perceptual homogeneity is a function of language. Everything you see is recognized, understood, and what is understood can be described, and that description joins the underlying coherence to our reality. Language is the voice of the known, that is, the known we understand within contextual parameters congenial to its application. Understanding shapes coherent subroutines to meaning automatically becoming contextually relevant by association. Everything we know is interfaced through a background we trust explicitly. Anything that undermines the cohesive quality to our experiential background is ignored, denied, or suppressed. Perception plays a critical role to human self-reflection. We understand within perceptual confluences we have been made hostage to, dictated by descriptions presented through language. Can you perceive without description? And can you describe without the linear integrity and cohesion prodded by language? Language conditions perception to its advantage. Perception free of language deconceptualizes the parlance of perceptual habits which compel critical anthropomorphic postures enrolling human attention. Language ignores important perceptual schemes impossible to describe, so that what cannot be described cannot be understood nor explained, and hence does not exist. Perceptual management beyond linguistic maneuvers is critical to intuitive agility and cognitive ingenuity. In simple words, if we can tap into this, we are all of us, about to get a lot smarter. Awareness enlivens endless positions. When human beings presume what language prepositions in front of them as the only perception in existence, they become contextual tenants, or worse, contextual agents. Humans are taught to defend the attributes they recognize as their own and become the perceptual representation of how they see what they see. They will even insert themselves onto others, so convinced they are of the position that holds them accountable to the version of reality they have taken on. The use of language as the sole contributor to coherence and familiarity conditions perceptual intransigence by emphasizing description as a trusted servant to an idealized informational transaction. Language is no trusted informant. Awareness beyond language description is. Most people forget it's the intelligence and awareness behind language that makes us versatile linguistically. We live in a perceptual trap when we automatically think into a language-based awareness, which is nothing but recognition of name and form applied to contexts. Human intelligence is displayed through language and easily expands into insight, intuition, and awareness beyond comprehension. However, understanding, explanations, and thinking have finite repercussions as expressions of intelligence. These are functional tools of contextual dependence that sanction their relevance into a cohesive narrative, continuously practiced into a complicit synergism. Ergo, Buddhism is not about getting to the void. Once you know that, you can discover the void on its own term. Madness is the assumption that sanity is not coercing the intransigence of knowing into believing that coherence is not just an arbitrary arrangement. When crossing the boundaries of normal, you must be willing to range beyond assumptions regardless of their sources. If nothing is what it seems, recognition is not an autonomous managerial tool from which to exercise perceptual self-reliance. But it is a great tool that preserves perceptual collusion and allegiances into limited venues. Recognition also creates compliant automatons, humans good at regurgitating a past onto the future, yet hardly versatile with poor adaptability skill sets. And schools do what exactly? This is about freedom, but not the freedom purchased out of contextual representation. That freedom is often a compelling exercise of contextual duplicity. This rendition caters to freedom beyond comprehension, outside of contextual imposition. The unknown void or quantum reality is the absolute beyond all participation, and the play which emerges from the commingling of the two. And yet that description merely serves an orientation from which we perceive what we describe, what cannot be depicted. Words cannot contrive an assemblage that might project from something that does not exist within those terms. Look, we are not perceptually autonomous. Once born, we are branded into contextual relevancy and hence only participate along the lines recognized. And yet we are a paradox beyond our grasp. Who are we? We are that, the freedom of uncharted potential, and yet that is not who we are. We are the undetermined prospects of enlightenment, but not the image you entertain of what this means. teachtolearning.com. Visit us if you want to learn more.